A TV example. This example comes in really handy, especially when you are shopping on Black Friday. So, if you're close to Black Friday, I highly recommend you review this example. So, a widescreen television is sold as 45 inches. A lot of people buy televisions around that time, right? Okay. Note that this is the diagonal side, right? When you buy as 45 inches. So from the display model in the store, you measure the longest side to be equal to 44 inches. What are the dimensions of the television? Do you want to buy this television as well? Is the question. I highly recommend you read word problems at least 2 to 3 times. It makes a huge difference. Well, at least a significant difference in many cases. A widescreen television is sold as 45-inch television. Once again, note that it's the diagonal size that they sell you. From the display model in your store, you measure the longest side to be equal to 44 inches. First of all, what is the dimensions of the televisions? And second of all, do you want to buy the television? So reading a little more carefully, we can see that the diagonal is 45 inches, agreed. Highlight the diagonal to make sure that it's understandable. Otherwise I'll forget, right? And the longest side is equal to 44 inches. Okay, I'm assuming this is the bottom. The bottom is typically the longest, right? When you have a widescreen television. The vertical is not very tall sometimes. Pythagorean theorem. So let's remember that we can use the Pythagorean theorem to find the height, in other words, the vertical. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. This is our Pythagorean theorem. Highly recommend you write at the top of your page each time you start a new page on your homework. Makes it easier. And a rough idea of what a TV screen looks like? It's a rectangle, agreed? Although I'm not quite sure if the proportions are correct in this case. Probably not. You'll find out pretty soon. So there's the diagonal. We know the diagonal is 45 inches. And it's the C value, agreed? It's the longest side, opposite to the corners from the 90-degree angles, which you can always put on there if you want to. I kind of did it in this case. So B equals, we don't know the height. Since we do not know the height, well, we do know the width though, right? A equals 44 inches. So, looks like we can use the Pythagorean theorem, so let's plug in what we know. So far we can tell that we know the A value, or you could have called it B as well. So, switch the A and the B, and that would be okay as well. In this case, I called it A, so A is 44, and our C value is 45. So 44 squared and 45 squared. Let's see what we get. This is where a calculator comes in handy. Clear anything that you might have, turn it on. And we're going to put 44 squared or 44 times 44, depending on how you prefer to do it. And then 45 squared. So 45 squared. That'll do both ways, that way you can see both. There we go. So we now have 1936 plus V equals 2025. Okay, now we gotta solve for V, meaning we gotta get rid of the 1936. So minus 1936 from both sides. 2025 minus 1936, so I already have the 2025 just before, so that should still work. If I push subtraction, it tells me the answer from before, subtracted 1936. Hit enter and it gives you 89. So our answer, b squared equals 89. And now to get rid of the square via the opposite, square root. Remember those trees? They have roots. Alright, so b squared and the square root cancel each other out. We are left with just v, the square root of 49. What number times itself gives you 49? Roughly 9.43, or you can try it on your calculator, right? Second, x squared gives you the square root on the left side there. And we're putting 89, close your parentheses, and hit enter. 9.43398 if you want to go longer digits, right? But that should be more than enough. So in this case, our TV is 9.43 inches. Hey, I recommend you get out a tape measure and realize that that 44 inches is quite large by comparison to that 9.43 inches. This is a very stretched image horizontally and not vertically. So the question is, would you buy that television? Well, if I'm configuring about 3 or 4 different monitors together, I might buy it, but otherwise, It's too long. It's a way too long of a television set. I'll pass.